Chamber music is my favorite kind of playing. I get to wield and move my sound around depending on who I'm playing with at any given moment. I love doing that kind of stuff. It stretches me, and I really like that.
The core foundational skills that we need for orchestral playing are rooted in chamber music. Some of the best music in the world is written for string quartet, so I think it's important for the musicians and for the listeners to get that unique experience.
We have an artistic advisory committee made up of musicians, and they discuss the repertoire that's going to be performed in all of these various chamber concerts.
We form our own groups, we pitch our own ideas for chamber works, and we cross our fingers that our piece gets picked and that we get to play. We performed the Bowen Fantasia for Four Violas. The group was comprised of Rebecca Albers and Marlea Simpson, Jude Park, and myself. Bowen was an English composer and piano player, but he also played many other instruments, including French horn and the viola. And he actually preferred the viola to the violin, so he wrote a lot of viola works. All of his music is so beautiful and romantic. We get these soaring melodies that we can slide around on and be like juicy, and that's just not something that composers really write for the viola very often, so he really understood our core and our hearts.
We played Igor Stravinsky's L'Histoire de Soldat, which was written in 1918. And it's a story of a soldier on his way home who makes a deal with the devil. He gives up his violin, also known as his soul, for riches and power. And it's a story of how he works his way back to regaining his violin, but then in the end loses it because he wants it all. And nobody can have it all. So Ray, our violinist, is sort of the protagonist of the story. He represents Joseph and his violin and his soul. We've got a rock star of a bass player, Kyle Sanborn, who is one of our newer members of the orchestra. Gabby and Faye, our principal clarinetist and bassoonist, have different characteristics in the group, and Doug and myself, trumpet and trombone. And then our percussionist, Kevin Watkins, he plays the part of the devil usually, and you can hear that in sort of the deeper rhythmic drum beat kind of feel of his music. Stravinsky uses all sorts of interesting things. You'll hear the bass player going boom, 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 boom. But meanwhile, the beat is going something like. It presents all sorts of interesting challenges for the ensemble to sort of find its way through that.
We all know how to play with each other already because we play an orchestra every day together. And so that part kind of just came naturally.
I would love for that at the E major to actually be just a little bit more fluid if it's possible.
A piece for four violas is pretty much unheard of. Pieces written for four of the same instrument are really rare because, of course, they all sound the same and have the same register. The roles of all of us were sort of similar to the roles of each instrument in a regular string quartet, which is two violins, viola, and a cello. Rebecca was just way up in the stratosphere, just like shifting around up there, mimicking the first violin.
Just like softer than one, but louder than three.
Playing chamber music brings all of us on stage just that much closer together. I play quite a bit in a brass quintet made up of a couple of our trumpet players, our principal horn player, and our principal tubist. When we sit on stage with the full orchestra, there's a connection there because we've played 1,000 hours together, just the five of us.
we play in these small groups, we all get to have a say and we all get to bounce off of each other and get inspired ourselves by the other people in the group. And I always feel inspired by the musicians here. Chamber is so exciting. It's different from what you get when you come to the orchestra to watch a huge performance. You get to see 4 people who have these unique ideas, blend them all together and create something really magical.
The fact that this orchestra supports our chamber music concerts really speaks to how they want to nurture the artistry of each and every individual musician. Chamber music is one of the finest ways for us to stay in closer contact to our community. It's a wonderful thing.